In the past, I have made videos about the importance of orienting correctly a carbon fiber rod as a bow in a kite, or a carbon fiber rod as one of the spars in a Korean or a buka kite that has multiple spars. And the same as with the flat carbon for the spine, although with a spine, the flat carbon's pretty much always just put in flat. Recently I bought carbon fiber from China, and I've been buying it from China. There are different vendors, lots of vendors there, and have always been fairly happy with the results. But one thing I noticed is that the orientation of the carbon fiber is a little more challenging using this Chinese carbon fiber. I'm not sure if it's because the carbon fiber lengths are shorter or maybe more dust-like, I don't know. But not only on a carbon fiber rod, not only is it not round, it's out of round, that's for sure. They all are, doesn't matter where you get them, unless you pay a really, really high price and get a very, very precisely made one. But I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm holding this by the tips, and the center is off of my mat here. You can hear it when I tap on it. That's because it is inconsistent in its flexibility and its roundness throughout its length. It has varying amounts of flexibility depending on where you bend it. Now, it's not very noticeable when you just test it like this. It seems like it's all about the same. But when you put it in a kite and you realize that it's not sitting in a symmetrical way, you wonder why. And when you hold with tension in your hand here, carbon fiber rod, and then use your fingers and rotate it around its axis, you'll notice that it will jump because it is not really round, not even close. And in addition to that, the way it is made, along with the way it's stored after it's made at the factory, has a large impact on this issue. I mention it again because it's very important to get a kite to fly equally well on the right or left side, but you just need to pay closer attention now because it seems that the carbon fiber is less and less uniform. With flat carbon, I've never had really experienced very much of that, a little, but there are two things in flat carbon that I have recently noticed. One, when it's manufactured, it comes out of the extruder and is wrapped around a big drum to store it on a huge roll. Well, this carbon fiber, for example, and many that I've had, is not flat, not straight. It curves starting from about here to here. It's about maybe 3/16 of an inch off of my mat right here. When I hold this part on the mat, it's almost like I tried to put a bend in it on purpose, but I didn't. Now, in addition to this issue, it often will have also a twist so that it won't lay flat. It will be a little bit twisted. When it's a twisted situation like that, I've not ever found a way to solve it other than using a different piece of carbon fiber. This issue is not a big deal if you're using it for a spine, because you could use this portion for the nose section of the kite, and you're going to bend that anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But you need to be aware that these are not made to be perfect. They're made fast and inexpensively, and there are many, many places in the United States that sell carbon fiber, but it's made in China, just like these, and have the same issues that these have. So I want to make sure that you realize it's very, very important to pay attention to how each particular carbon fiber rod you use for a bow, or if you use it like in a buka, it's even more critical here. In a buka and a Korean kite and some Brazilian kites use multiple spars. And each of these spars, in order for the kite to fly really well, they must be oriented correctly to the shape of the bend that they're expected to take when the kite's in flight. And in order to do that, you have to take each piece and twist it in your hands and feel where it is naturally easier to bend it. And that's the way that it must be installed in the kite in order to best assure the kite will fly the way you expect it to. In a diamond kite, you only have really one carbon fiber rod to be concerned with, and that's the bow. And it plays a huge role in how the kite flies, there's no doubt about it, but it's only one, so it's a little easier to get it correct. And even when you get it correct in terms of the orientation of the carbon fiber, it's still not exactly equal on the right side or left side. It's still slightly off in terms of its flexibility from the center out or the center out this way. Now, generally that isn't a big deal in a fighter kite, and whatever that creates in terms of its flight unbalance can normally be adjusted through the bridle. And that's why we use a 3-point bridle, is to allow for those kind of small differences in the materials we use when we make the kite. But pay close attention to the carbon fiber you're using. It'll make a big difference in how your kite flies.